Mimea ambayo tunatoa kwa shamba ni kachachawa. Changamoto ambayo tunapitia ni kukosa maji, na sababu maji ni msimu wa mvua. Kabla ya Equator Kenya tulikuwa tunatumia kumwagia maji na ndoo tukitumia water can. Mfumo ambao kwamba tunatumia wakati huu ni wa drip kit. Naweka maji na kunyunyizia ile mimea ya kachachawa.
Kwa majina naitwa Eunice Neema. Ni mkulima wa kachachawa, mahindi, pojo, tomato na mboga. Equator Kenya huwa tukiitaka loni ya kuvunia hizo mimea zetu za pilipili inatupatia, na tunatafuta watu tunasaidiwa kuvuna.
Mambo mengine ambayo yanaweza fanyika ili kuongeza mazao ni kuzuia maji yasipotee. Maji yakiwa yamezuiliwa na hayaendi chini, yataishi kwa muda mrefu na yatasaidia ili tuongeze mazao.
Huwa tuna wadudu pia huwa wanatusumbua katika hiyo mimea yetu ambayo tunapanda.
Polymer ni absorber water retainer. Ni ya kupandia mimea na ina reduce irrigation by 50%. Kuishi kwake kwa mchanga ni miaka 5 na inapoteza 10% mpaka 15%. Inapotea na hewa, kwa hiyo hakuna kitu itakuja kuharibu mchanga baadaye, na iharibu mwili ya watu. Ni friendly na inasaidia aeration pale kwa mizizi ya mimea, na inasaidia ikue na mazao mengi baadaye na inamea haraka. Tofauti ya ukipanda bila polymer na ile umepanda na polymer, hiyo absorber inashikilia maji kwa mchanga, kwa hiyo mimea yako ina grow ikiwa green na inakuwa na mazao mengi kuliko ile ambayo hujapanda na hiyo polymer.
We started working with cassava farmers in Kilifi County some years ago, and their real challenge was access to water for their cassava value chain, for processing and for generating planting material in their nursery, and this was really holding them back. Looking at their available water supplies and options, it seemed that rainwater harvesting was really the most viable one. And then more recently, we started working with the chili farmers. The systems for the cassava farmers were very successful, but they were large and they were quite difficult to install. They needed technical input. So for the chili farmers, we looked at much smaller user-friendly systems which the farmers themselves could purchase and put in place on their farms. The alternatives we looked at in quite a lot of detail, and most of the farmers are relying on water pans. And these generally are fairly poor quality of water because of animals entering. They're fairly irregular, they're not there all year round. And of course then they're not on the farmer's doorstep. They involve travel and people carrying the water, and that's usually women and girls who have that burden. So the drizzle kit represents a system which is on the farmer's doorstep. It catches the water and it saves it, it stores it very safely so it doesn't get contaminated. And then with very careful use, the farmers can make that water last throughout the year, so they have a reliable source of water. And this isn't just for their farming activities, this is also for domestic use. So they have a certain amount they can take, about 80 litres a day for their domestic use, which is obviously high priority. And then they also have an allocation which they can use for their chili farms, where most of them are using drip kits, which are highly efficient. So the concept of the drizzle kit is very simple. If you imagine when it's raining on bare soil or bare ground, the water falls and it infiltrates very easily, unless it's a very strong shower, in which case it runs off, collecting soil and debris as it goes. All we're doing with the drizzle kit is placing a piece of plastic directly on the ground surface. Then, as the rain falls on this piece of plastic, you can see all of it runs off and runs downhill. And we install a small plug at the bottom of this sheet, and that collects the water and takes it to the storage tank. Well, the cost of a drizzle kit is just under 100,000 shillings, just less than $1,000. It is a significant amount of money, but we found that chilies are really good at paying back investments. The more that you water them, the more produce you get. And if we look at a typical farmer who would be able to generate probably $35,350 worth of extra revenue every year, this means they can pay off that investment within 3 years. So we're exploring microfinancing options as a way to enable the farmers to actually purchase these kits so that then they can be more resilient and sustainable in the future.
Equity Bank is empowering the farmers through financial literacy training, which is an arm of EGF, Equity Group Foundation, through provision of financial literacy in various financial modules. And one thing that is done is there is a training assessment needs that is done. And then after that training assessment needs, we are able to help the farmers begin those trainings. And those trainings majorly are on bookkeeping, they are on record keeping, on budgeting, on savings, on debt management, on insurance, and even animal and plant husbandry practices or best practices. So once we carry out the needs assessment, we shall be able to know what is required for these farmers who are already in a group, and then we shall be able to train them. And after that training, the farmers can be able to use that knowledge to improve their lifestyle, to improve their working conditions, to improve the way they do farming. And eventually, we will also continue the program to entrepreneurship, whereby the farmer now will stop viewing farming as just subsistence, but will start viewing it as a way of business, as a way of earning income, as a way of giving more employment to others. The farmers can access financing basically through, number one, opening an account with us as Equity, and after opening the account, we are able to analyze what the farmer has been doing over the years. And number three, based on the relationship that we have with Equator Kenya Limited, we shall be able to take them as an off-taker for the farmers. And this is through contract farming, whereby the farmer has the assurance that as long as he follows the proper husbandry practices and he gets a yield, once he supplies that yield to Equator Kenya Limited, then Equator Kenya Limited can be able to be like a guarantee to them, and the farmer will be able to access funds through us. The eProd data system that Equator Kenya Limited is using will help us in mining data, and that data is in raw form, and that data which is in raw form will be used to inform us of the progress of the farmer. It will be used to inform us of how much the farmer maybe has produced and how much he has delivered. And out of that, we shall be able to do our own assessment and be able to project that this farmer can be able to produce this certain kind of kilograms. And once he supplies, since Equator Kenya Limited is an off-taker, and they have guaranteed us that they are going to take all the produce of the farmers. Once they have already gotten back, they sourced the market for the product, and they have paid the farmer through us, we are able to get our funds back. So that system will enable us to monitor very well the stages of the farmer. It will help us to monitor how many kilograms the farmer has delivered. It will help us to monitor what are some of the risks, what are some of the problems, what are some of the issues that may have arisen during the course of the planting, since all the interactions with the farmer are monitored through that system.
Agriculture Sector Development Support Program came into being in the first phase in 2013, And at that time when we came in, we were to work together with stakeholders, and especially those who are in the county. At that time, Equator Kenya Limited was already on the ground. They were working with farmers and they were involved in groups. And that is how we felt like we should join hands together and work with Equator Kenya Limited. I do think that the financial service packages that Equator Kenya Limited are planning to give farmers will be accepted by all our farmers. And it will not be all at a go. There are those who will be laggers, but there are those who initially will start. And once they do, the others will see whatever they are doing and they will also follow.
Ingependelea pembejeo itengewe mapeni ili tuweze kuongeza mazao.
I'm foreseeing that some farmers might not be able to pay as expected because the weather is not as we normally expect. There are so many changes. So they might have low produce, making them difficult to pay their financial packages. The opportunities that will be offered by the financial packages, I'm seeing farmers being able to cultivate more pieces of land because in most cases the funds available is a challenge. The other opportunity I'm seeing is when it comes to crop protection, farmers will be able at least to protect their crop, and this will increase on production and productivity. I'm also seeing a scenario where our farmers will be commercial farmers because they'll be able to do all the good agricultural practices that they are supposed to do. When it comes to harvesting, most of our farmers have challenge. So when we have assistance in financing in terms of harvesting, this will also enable our farmers harvest most of the crop that is ready in their farms.
Tissue culture is a technology that we use to propagate plants to ensure uniformity of the plants, whereby the mother and the daughters are identical. It's a technology whereby you use it's done in the laboratory. You take one plant and you cut it to very small pieces, and the plantlets are grown in the laboratory in the dish. But when they sprout out, they are later taken to the field, but not direct. You first harden them in a nursery. Then when they harden, then you can take them now to the field. It ensures, basically it ensures that you get uniformity and of the crop or of the plant you are interested in. When you want to get seedlings that are of uniform genetic makeup, and you want it fast, that's one of the reasons you use tissue culture, because you can propagate even thousands and thousands from just one plant. The other reason, which is the main reason, is when you want uniformity of the, as I say, uniformity of the plant, say that all the plants, will be of uniform genetic makeup, and consequently even the produce will be uniform. The benefit is that the farmers are going to get quality planting material that is of uniform trait and that the market wants. These days we are saying we are going for the market. So once we identify what the market wants, and now we propagate that, we get seeds, we get planting materials for the farmers. Now the farmers are assured of a market. So it makes a lot of sense to do tissue culture, so that the farmers can, because we have had in the past we have had cases whereby farmers grow like chilies and then they are told this is not the right variety we wanted, this is not the right line. So now with the tissue culture, they are sure what they are going to harvest is what the market wants. An exporting country that exports produce like AB chili will definitely benefit because the market, the international market, is very stringent on quality, on size, on uniformity, and all those aspects. So when a company contracts farmers to grow for them a produce like, let's say, chilies. It is in their interest that farmers produce what the market wants. In that case, the company is like a link. It's a node. It's a node that links the farmers with the market. So it means if the market demands this quality, this size, this produce, it makes a lot of sense to the company and benefits actually, because now once with the tissue culture, they are sure what are the seeds that they are going, or the planting material that they are going to give the farmers. It's exactly what the market wants. So issues of rejection, issues of maybe being told this is not the right variety are already removed.
Tangu Ikweta Kenya ilinibadilisha kufunza watoto, kujenga nyumba na kununua chakula na kupata pesa za kumsaidia mambo madogo madogo.
Ikweta Kenya imenisaidia kwa kuelimisha watoto kwa kuwauzia mavuno ambayo kwamba yanatoka kwa shamba.